Hey, John, it's good to be with you, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited, and I think the fans here in Northern Nevada are going to be excited to see you at the Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner. The 32nd annual Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner will take place on Friday, January 15th, down at the Silver Legacy, and Chris Singleton will be the featured speaker. A two-sport athlete here at the University of Nevada before going on to a big league career in the majors, and now an analyst for ESPN, kind of to cover your resume. But, Chris, let me take you back to your playing days here at Northern Nevada, and playing for really two of the iconic coaches in the history of University of Nevada sports. And Chris Salt on the football field, you were a wide receiver on the football team, and Gary Powers, you were an outfielder for his baseball teams. Talk about that experience for you and what it was like being, because there are not many two-sport athletes left, if any at all, in collegiate athletics anymore. But what was it like for you to be a two-sport athlete at the University of Nevada?
Well, it was, football first, and establishing myself there, and then having the opportunity to go out and play. I thought when I left Pinole Valley High School in Northern California for UNR, and just seeing the speed of the game of college football, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to manage much more than school and trying to keep up with the playbook. But after a couple of seasons of football, I wanted to just kind of kick the tires a little bit, see if I was even good enough to play baseball in college. And it seemed like Coach Powers was licking his chops, waiting for me to come out. And I'm very grateful that he received me with open arms, and I was able to make it happen and play both sports there. And who knew that my life and career path would end up becoming baseball dominant as opposed to baseball just being an afterthought for me coming out of high school.
That's pretty amazing. So when you came here to play football, your thought was that if you were going to play professionally beyond college, it would be in the NFL rather than Major League Baseball, it sounds like.
Absolutely. And I didn't think much beyond college. College for me was, being able to play on Saturdays and in front of the great crowds there in Reno and the places we would go on the road. I didn't really think much beyond that. I just wanted to enjoy that. I wanted to go through school. My mom was extremely proud that, went to college, and especially on scholarship. I think that makes parents even happier when they don't have to pay for it. But yeah, at that time, I just was enjoying college life and playing football, and really didn't think much beyond, anything at the collegiate level, but just wanted to see if baseball was something that still had my heart, because I was a little leaguer and loved Little League baseball, and it was my favorite sport as I was a kid. But then once I got into high school, it was both sports, but football was what I wanted to do, go to college and play on Saturdays. And it's just pretty amazing to me that, my life would take, the twist that it did, and I end up, playing baseball and being in baseball for a really long time.
Chris Singleton, who will be the guest speaker at the 32nd Annual Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner on January 15th. That'll be at the Silver Legacy. Joining me on today's show, we'll talk about the Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner in a moment. I kind of want to find out, when, in your mind, did you decide that baseball was going to be your path rather than football then? Because as you said, you came to Nevada thinking football would be your future. As you put it, you kicked the tires to see what baseball would give you, and all of a sudden now you're a major leaguer, a second-round draft pick when you were done playing at Nevada. But at what point in time when you were here at Nevada did you say, okay, baseball's my path rather than football?
I would say after my first season of playing baseball. I came to UNR. I played as a true freshman, as a backup wide receiver. Then the next spring, played spring football, played in the fall. And then it was my sophomore year that I went out and played baseball. And all of a sudden I rediscovered this love for the game that I didn't have since, I hadn't had since I was a kid. And I found myself wanting to be at, the field there and cleaning up after practice and just hanging out. Kind of felt like a kid again when you have that game on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock as a little leaguer and you're in your uniform until 10 p.m. at night because
Sure.
you're just at the ballpark or you're outside playing in the streets. That's kind of how I felt, and I knew something was stirring in my heart. I went back and played in the fall as a junior and then came back in the spring to play baseball, and I really felt a shift in my heart, and I really believe God's plans for my life and just being able to see what was kind of down the road and getting myself in line with it, and everything came together way beyond I could have orchestrated it myself.
Chris Singleton, who in his career at Nevada as a baseball player hit .330, had 109 hits, 70 runs scored, 56 RBIs, and 34 stolen bases before becoming a second-round draft pick of the Giants in 1993. What was that like on draft day to get your name called as a second-round pick from a team, obviously, that you probably had some pretty close ties with, at least being a fan of from the Bay Area?
Don, it was absolutely unbelievable, and I can still remember the day like it was yesterday. I was drafted in the 30th round out of high school by the Houston Astros, and really being kind of one of those guys a little off in the distance as a baseball player, I didn't expect to go real high. I mean, I think I would have been elated had I been a 7 to 10 round pick. And I remember that draft day. It wasn't like it is today where it's on television and everything's digital and mobile and these kids know what's going on. Man, we were in the dark ages, Don. And,
right.
During that time, I mean, it was Pony Express. They delivered a letter to your front door and let you know you were selected.
Wow.
But no, really, I remember that morning getting up. I was in Reno and just getting on my little mountain bike and going for a ride up to a park and just trying to get my mind off of the draft and, when was I going to be selected? When was I going to get a phone call? And just really kind of release some of that stress of it. And I remember getting a call pretty early, kind of close to midday, letting me know that the Giants had selected me in the second round. And the scout, Doug McMillan, who was out of Sacramento, and, God, bless his soul, rest in peace. He was a tremendous man that believed in me and loved the fact that I was an athlete and got to see me play football as well as baseball. And I'm just so thankful for all of the people along the way from being just a young kid to even today as the story continues to be written, the people that have made investments in my life and helped me, at every stage it seems. And you can't do it by yourself, man. You need people to believe in you. You need people to come alongside you, and you need to be able to walk it out. And that's
Sure.
what by the grace of God, I've been able to do.
Big league time with the White Sox, the Orioles, the A's, and Tampa Bay. I don't know that I've ever asked anybody from a professional level, and maybe you might be the first person I'll ask this question of. It's kind of a simple question, but I don't know that I've asked anybody that has left the university that has gone on to play professional sports what this is like, and it's a simple question of what was it like putting on a big league uniform and going out and playing big league baseball?
Wow, it was a bit surreal. I remember my first game as a major leaguer with the Chicago White Sox in 1999, and we were playing the Kansas City Royals at home. At the time, it was U.S. Cellular, I should say Comiskey Park, but now it's U.S. Cellular Field. And might I add, New Comiskey Park, because some people that have been on the South Side for a long time, they'd get me for that one. So, just game day. Being in a big league stadium, you've been in spring training, you've gotten a taste, but it's not like what it is once the season begins and you're playing in major league cities and ballparks, and just a surreal experience for me, really was. And, I just, I think about that home game, that first home game, and how special it was. The season actually started in Seattle, but really in home for me was where it all kind of clicked. And walking to home plate for the first time, it was a bit of an out of body experience. Just thinking, I have worked my entire life to get to this point and have this opportunity, and what was a dream is now a reality. And it just didn't seem real, but pretty cool how. Things after you're there for a little bit, you get comfortable and you go to work.
Awesome. What a great story. Chris Singleton, who will be the guest speaker at the 32nd annual Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner, less than a month away, January 15th is where the event will, when the event will take place at the Silver Legacy. You can call 682-6901. That's 682-6901 for tickets, or log on to NevadaWolfPack.com and find out how you can get tickets to see Chris. Chris, You obviously work for ESPN now as an analyst. I think you and John Shambi are. I'm just going to throw this out there now. I think you guys are the number one team in regards to broadcasting baseball games. I love listening to you guys. I think you guys have a great chemistry, and you do a terrific job on the air. As I asked you about when you knew it was, baseball was going to be your dream, when you got done playing, when did that dream of becoming a broadcaster kind of come to light and put you in that chair to be a broadcaster, both as a color analyst and or an in-studio host, which you did for ESPN also?
Well, it was really quickly, Don. I was barely off the field when I had some opportunities to do some radio work with ESPN in the summer of 2005. I had been released by the Tampa Bay Rays, and over the years, I remember in my early years with the White Sox and how doing interviews, whether it was television or radio, I would have individuals who were broadcasters then saying, "You're going to be a broadcaster after your career's over." And I said, "Hey, not so fast. I want to play for a while and enjoy being in uniform.
Sure.
We'll deal with that later on." But it had always sort of been there in my path. And when I look back at whether it was being in the journalism pathway there at UNR, or some of the off-season work I would do when I was in the minor leagues, living in the Phoenix, Arizona area, I would do some kind of internships at some of the TV stations in the sports department in the off season. And I didn't really put two and two together that I was trying to build a post-playing career. It just was something that I was naturally drawn to. And so it came a little quicker than I expected, because when you kind of think that you're hanging it up and you're done on the field, you need some time to decompress and really sort of work through some things, mentally and emotionally, because this career of a baseball player, there are a lot of demands, there are a lot of stresses, there are a lot of things that you're deprived from because of your schedule, and now you're trying to put all the pieces together. And to get the opportunity so quickly and the call so quickly, I was kind of hesitant, and I didn't really want to move into anything too fast, but thankfully I did, and I ended up really liking it. And that became, for me, the next fuel that would, be my passion, if you will, after baseball, which a lot of guys have a really hard time finding after they come off the field, finding something in life that, they get excited about, that they have the performance, aspect of it. You've got the failure aspect of it as well, and that's what drives, any competitor, any great athlete, anyone that's just driven. The fact that you can fail, that sort of fear of failure, is what really causes you to excel. So the broadcasting opportunity, doing live radio, live television, it gave me that opportunity. And I appreciate your kind words about John Shambi and I, my partner. And I tell you what, we enjoy working with each other, and I'm glad that's what comes across on the air.
Oh, it's fantastic. Have you kind of thought about the 15th and what kind of presentation you'll have to the baseball fans here in Northern Nevada that show up, and they'll show up in droves. You know that the Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner is always a big fundraising event for the baseball program. January 15th at the Silver Legacy. Do we know what we're going to see from Chris Singleton when you get on stage on that night?
No, we don't know, but I would trust and say to all those that are coming out and those that are thinking about coming out, please come out. I'd love to just relive some of those glory days there as a Wolfpack player and part of that community. But doing the speaking that I do now at this point in my life, whether it's on radio or television or even getting out, I'm certified in a couple of different types of leadership training programs. And so I get out and I speak with companies and teams and do team building, and I've had some really neat experiences, whether it's been with the Wounded Warrior Project, some of those soldiers just here recently, or, something as simple as going out and working with a professional soccer team. It's been tremendous, but I think, collectively the experiences that I've had along with, my own personal life, is something that as we get into the dinner and the communication with the group and the interaction, I think there'll be some really neat things that are hit on. And my biggest thing is that, I want to have an impact on your life. And if there's something that's inspiring, something that moves you, something that turns a bulb on, that's what I want to hit. And I would say that in most times that I go out to speak, those opportunities come up, and I'm able to hit those buttons, and people can leave feeling empowered rather than just going to something and saying, okay, I just spent 2 hours, 3 hours of my life, and yeah, it was okay. They can take something and be empowered to go back into their life and their world and make a difference.
It's going to be a great event. Friday, January 15th, Silver Legacy, 32nd Annual Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner. The featured speaker, who you've just heard from on this show, Chris Singleton, former wide receiver for the Wolfpack football program back in the early 90s, former outfielder for Gary Powers and the baseball program, big league career that, as we said earlier, spanned between the White Sox, the Orioles, A's, and Tampa Bay Rays, will be the featured speaker on the 15th. Chris, can't wait for you to get to town. Can't wait for the Bobby Dolan Baseball Dinner on the 15th. We'll say have a safe trip when you come out, and look forward to the dinner that night.
All right, Don. Thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing you all as well.